Good afternoon or good evening. Welcome everyone to this public worship sponsored by Drum. We are so excited to welcome you all to this space. I want to start to invite us to prepare ourselves for worship, gathering ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, and to make this digital space a sacred space. So to do that, we're going to start by building a virtual altar. And I invite all of you to take a moment to gaze around in the gallery view of our space, to see familiar and new faces. If you happen to have a spiritual or ritual item close by and you would like to hold it up to your camera to create a sense of what you're bringing to this space, I invite you to do that. And also, if you would like to submit a word that moves or inspires you or brings you joy, we are going to also create a altar of words of inspiration to show later tonight. So you could also start to do that in the chat. And we will continue to ground ourselves and bring us into this hour of worship through music. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm the Reverend Christina Shu, and I am a minister here in Los Angeles, California. I am a Chinese American woman in my 40s with shoulder length dark hair. I'm wearing a green dress and glasses, and I am so thrilled to be here with all of you.
Let us dance for those who danced before us. Let us sing for those who could not. Let us pray for the courage to continue. Let us dream up the world we are building. Let us rejoice in the beauty of our being. Even in times of despair, we lift our voices. Even when they try to break us, we will move our bodies. Even when they try to silence us, we will create anew. Because no matter what comes, there will always be dancing. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for supporting Drum's 5th annual public worship. My name is Tomi Fatunde. I come to you from Dallas, Texas tonight, land of the Caddo, and many other Indigenous communities. I am an African-American woman with short curly hair and medium brown skin tone. I am wearing a blue outfit with pink and orange accents and dangly earrings that are disappearing into my orange background. It is so good to be with you today. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Thank you for coming with us to imagine, to connect, to sing and dance and rejoice. We hope whether you're with us for the first time or if this is a tradition for you now, that you find peace and healing and joy and connection tonight. Thank you again for joining us and welcome.
Now that time to call in that which unites us and that which created us. My name is Reverend Sanjay Hawk. I am one of the chaplains available to you via Drum's chaplain team. And I would like us to now call into the elements. I am an indigenous Asian elder with dyed brown and red hair, wearing a traditional Tibetan worship robe and my traditional Tibetan prayer beads. My pronouns are she, they, and I welcome you to join with us now in bringing in the elementals.
We call on the direction of the east, the element of air, the breath of beginnings. Winds of the east, breath of dawn, sweep through this circle, bring us on wings of thought, of dreams just born, whisper to us of new ideas and skies reborn. Spirits of the air, we welcome you. And I invite all of us to take in a deep breath together.
Now I invite you to hold up a candle or imagine a fire burning bright within. As we call in the element of fire, the direction of the south. Flame of the south, bright and bold, burn in our hearts, both young and old. Inspire our courage, spark our delight, light up our purpose, and fuel our insight. Spirits of fire, we welcome you.
We call on the direction of the west, the element of water, the flow of feeling. You might hold a cup of water, or you might imagine all the water that's flowing in your body by putting a hand over your heart. Waters of the west, deep and wide, carry our tears and dreams inside. Flow through our hearts, our memories tide, washing us clean with love as our guide. Spirits of water, we welcome you.
I invite you to reach out to touch something solid around you, the floor, the chair, the wall, perhaps even your own arms. Earth of the north, the root of wisdom, ground beneath starry skies, ancient and wise. Hold us steady, help us grow. Your quiet strength is all we know. Spirits of the earth, we welcome you.
We continue our invocation by calling to our ancestors. And we invite you to type into the chat the name of an ancestor or someone who has shaped you in your life. Now we call, not with fear, but with love, to the ones who came before us, those of our family, of our spirit, of justice, of laughter, of deep remembering, ancestors of blood, of heart, of story, you whose lives made space for ours. We honor you, we carry you. Speak now in silence, in mind, in symbol, in soul.
You are not gone. You walk beside us still. Let us pause. Close your eyes if you wish, and imagine all of us, young, old, near, and far, seated in a vast circle beneath the stars of belonging. The air stirs, the fire glows, the water flows, the earth holds, and in this moment, we are whole.
Good evening or afternoon to all of you. I'm the Reverend Joan Javier-Duval. I use she, her pronouns. I am an Asian woman in my 40s with hair slightly below my shoulders, black, dark hair, and I am wearing a black dress and a white stole, and I'm here with my son, Liam. And I'd like for our other chalice lighter, Sanders Anderson, would you please introduce yourself to everyone before we light our chalice?
Yes, hello. My name is Sanders Anderson, and this is my son, Ethan James Anderson. We are members of the First Church Unitarian in Houston.
And as we begin to light the chalice, you're invited to light a chalice if you have one nearby. We kindle a flame from Vermont to Texas and everywhere in between and beyond. Ours is a light that insists on joy, a light that illuminates truth, a light that guides us on our path of justice. May we follow this light in the ever unfolding dance of life with open hearts and open and loving hearts.
Good evening. I am Dr. Jolie Rocke, and I use she, her pronouns. My skin is pecan colored. I have hair the color of the earth, and I'm wearing orange. Please mute your audio and sing along with me on hymn number 311 from Singing the Living Tradition. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Hello. Now it's time for the story of all ages. My name is Esperanza Flores Garza, and I am here from San Antonio, Texaslan, the home of the Tonkawa people. And I am a Latina woman with brown hair and light brown skin, brown eyes, and glasses, wearing a traditional huipil. and I'm going to share a story with you called Finding My Dance by Rhea Thundercloud, illustrated by Kalila J. Fuller. Okay, I'm going to have to take off my glasses, y'all. Don't get scared. My name is Kawajahaya Pihuigwa, which means beautiful thunder woman. I am from the Ho-Chunk Nation in Wisconsin and Sandia Pueblo in New Mexico. These tribes have different languages, cultures, and ceremonies, but both value an important part in my life, dance. When I was 4 years old, I came home from school and there was a beautiful orange jingle dress hand sewn by my mom hanging from a frame. The dress had silver cones that clinked together and made the most beautiful sound when they moved, like rainfall. There are many stories about jingle dresses that have been passed down from generation to generation. My mom explained to me that it was a healing dress, and every time I danced in it, I'd send blessings to everyone watching. In receiving the jingle dress, I was prepared to be brought into the powwow circle. A powwow is where we gather to honor our culture through song and dance. The arena is a circle to symbolize unity, where there is no beginning and no end, just infinite connections to the spirit world and the earth. Drummers line up along the edge and center of the arena, and their drum beat represents the heartbeat, the source that gives the dancers energy. I was nervous when I arrived at the first powwow where I would dance alone, even though my family was there behind me. The powwow was packed, but right before the first drum beats, my youngest brother walked over and whispered in my ear, "Dance hard." That invigorated my spirit. I danced and danced, feeling full of life. Dancers and spectators shook hands with my family, greeting me and welcomed me into the circle. Every summer after that, my older brothers and I would hit the powwow trail. We danced all over Indian country. We stayed with family and friends along the way, sharing laughter, jokes, and many memories. We jumped from one time zone to another, region to region, and watched the sun rise and set. It felt magical to witness the changes of Mother Earth. And all the while, my love for dance was growing. Sometimes I felt like an outsider. Classical dance is rigid and structured, while traditional dance is more grounded and expressive. I pushed myself to be perfect. The classical style was the opposite of what I was used to, and it wasn't always easy. Even though I was always dancing in front of large crowds, I relied on dance to express myself because I was shy. In high school, I didn't fit in. I didn't look like anyone around me. I was tall, with long hair, and a name that my classmates couldn't pronounce. No one said my name correctly, and I never corrected them. I was always the only Indigenous girl in class. But my dance life was very different from school life. Dance gave me other languages to express myself. Especially when things felt hard, I could always dance it out and feel better. Dance was my path, so after high school, I became a professional dancer. I traveled far and wide to perform in Russia, New Zealand, Greece, Italy, Canada, the Czech Republic, Turkey, and all over the USA. Throughout my travels, I was often greeted with beautiful dark clouds or kisses from the rain on my skin. I knew that I was never alone and that my ancestors were watching over me. No matter how far I went, I would always return to my homelands, to the sound of the drums. When I got older, I was gifted a beautiful set of eagle wings that had been plucked, dried, and blessed. The eagle flies the highest in the sky, and we believe their feathers carry our prayers to our ancestors. It is a messenger. The connection to sky elements has always been a part of who I am. When I performed my eagle dance while wearing the wings, I felt like the eagle was with me the entire time. I felt beautiful and strong. I fly. I danced lifetimes before this one and will dance lifetimes after it. I am never alone. I have danced alongside my ancestors and will continue to do so for the rest of this cyclical existence. I am beautiful Thunder Woman, and dance will always be a part of me.
My name is Karishma Neva Gottfried. I use they and she pronouns, and I'm joining you from the land of the Lenape people, also known as New York City. I serve on Drum Steering Committee as Outreach Co-Coordinator. I am a young adult with light brown skin and dark brown hair with highlights and two braids. I'm wearing a black tank and a red striped button down that was once my partner's grandfather's. I'm wearing a necklace and have silver hoop earrings and a single AirPod because I lost my other one. As we gather in this sacred space, rooted in justice and love, in our shared Unitarian Universalist faith, we are now invited into a moment of generosity. Drum is a spiritual home, a place of solidarity, and a wellspring of transformation for Black, Indigenous, and people of color in our faith. When I was growing up, my mother and sister and I were some of the only people of color in our congregation. I didn't know there was a world of Unitarian Universalism where people looked like me and shared my stories of heartbreak and hope, of microaggressions and miracles. When I found Drum as a teenager and excitedly told my mother about it, the two of us joined and quickly found communities of our own within the larger community of Drum. My mom found local connections from other UUs of color from nearby congregations, and I found other young people from across the country to meet up with at General Assembly and other national events. And even now, one of my favorite things is to show up at some Drum event only for someone to go, "Hey, you're Shika's daughter." Those connections are important. They're the lifeblood of our community. And just as importantly, Drum is shaping the future of Unitarian Universalism. Drum is the largest collective for people of the global majority in Unitarian Universalism. We gather across generations and geographies, online and in person, to build connection, deepen our spiritual lives, and organize for justice. From our elder odysseys that honor our ancestors and wisdom keepers, to our aiming for allyship trainings that equip congregations for the work of anti-racism, from local meetups and pastoral care offerings to powerful public worships like this one. Drum is growing a faith where the voices of Black UUs, Indigenous UUs, and other UUs of color are not just included, but leading the way. To all who are gathered here, your generosity today sustains all of this work and helps us support all of our community's endeavors. The link to donate to Drum is in the chat. Please give as generously as you are able and know that your gift is gratefully received.
We are dancing Sarah Circle. We are dancing Sarah Circle. We are dancing Sarah Circle. Brothers, sisters, all.
Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for believing in the power of Drum's ministry. Thank you for helping us grow a Unitarian Universalism that is more just, more joyful, and more whole.
I invite everyone into the space of prayer and meditation. When we were creating this worship service, we felt that it was really important to recognize the feeling and the experience of grief that so many of us have felt very deeply this past year. And to recognize that in order to feel fully whole and human in worship, that we give time to grief. So as we do this, I encourage you to be most gentle with yourself and with those around you. For this part of the service, you might want to take yourself off camera. You might want to do other things that bring some physical comfort, or to have water and tissue nearby. Let's start by just taking 3 deep breaths together. Moving your breath in through the nose, down into the belly, and releasing through our mouths. Tonight, we acknowledge that in order to bring our whole human selves to worship, we must bear witness to grief and to all of our emotions. We acknowledge that sometimes in our society, grief is hidden away, downplayed, or discounted, pushed off in favor of toxic positivity or a rush to do something. We acknowledge that grieving is a natural human experience that comes from deep within our souls in response to loss, whether the loss of people, places, beliefs, or experiences, the loss of those that we loved most profoundly. Now, I also invite you, however you feel moved, to write in the chat any griefs that you are holding right now. This is truly an invitation and not a requirement. You can also silently name those griefs to yourself. This is an invitation, and there's no pressure to respond. To all the griefs we are holding, seen and unseen, barely beneath the surface or hidden down deep, we name you, we see you, we invite you into the circle here with us. Witnessing our griefs in this circle, we give space where you can cry, weep, sit in silence, beat your chest, scream, and move. Here we will not rush to talk of healing or moving on without listening to the fullness of the pain or the rawness of the wound. We will not hush or shame, minimize or compare our griefs. We name grief for the world, for our countries and nations, for lives lost to war, to violence, lives lost to genocide, to famine, to systems of oppression and hatred. We name grief for the natural environment of which we are interwoven parts, for our plant and animal siblings, for the waters, the mountains, forests, air, and climate. Here, located in the city of Los Angeles, I name the losses due to the wildfires in the Pacific Palisades and Altadena. We name grief for loss of relationships with others, for loss of communities separated or deported, for other changes in our life due to illness, age, or other circumstance. We grieve the loss of beloved pet companions. We grieve for beliefs we once had about ourselves or our world that we cannot hold any longer. And we grieve for the people we have lost, the sight of their smiles, the sound of their laughter, the warmth of their embrace. We miss them most profoundly. We grieve especially for the members of the drum community who have passed, including mentors and friends and faith leaders. All other griefs, the ones that have been shared in the chat, those named and those felt deep in our heart, we honor you. We pray to fully experience you and to walk with one another in our grief. I invite you to take another deep breath in and release it slowly. And as we transition into prayer, maybe place a hand over your heart or wrap yourself in a gentle hug. Spirit of life, breathe through us today and fill us with your peace. May we feel the love and tender kindness of this circle holding and sustaining us. May we acknowledge that love coexists with grief, that laughter and joy coexist with tears, and the sweetness of memories and gratitude coexists alongside the pain. We hope to continue to honor and remember our grief and to be present when it needs to be listened to in ourselves and others. We pray to sing our grief, to dance our grief, to fully embody our grief, and to embrace all of who we are together with love and hope for the future. Amen, and blessed be. Now let us continue to pray through song.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
This is the poem entitled Dance by Norma P. Doyaga. We dance the dance of struggle and hope. We dance the rhythm, rhyme, ritual, and melody of poets, Babelan, thinkers, and artists. We dance their protests and subversive prose. We dance the movement of Indigenous peoples as they resist the destruction of Mother Earth, of sea, of sky, mountain, and forest, while plunderers accrue the immoral profit, trump their strides of gluttony and nature's robbery. The empire bows and sways to the gods of revenue and greed, extracted from farmers and the workers. Yet we join the rising battle of those downtrodden and undulate in the dance of release, redemption, and freedom. We dance the dangerous dance of struggle. We dance whole body, spirit, and soul. We dance with the wind and the ashes, the ruins of the old tyrant rule. We dance until oppression is no more.
As we sing this next song, In These Hard Times, I invite you to enter into the chat a word that can give an action besides singing or dancing. So I'll also add those in as we continue to sing. I also encourage you to, for the rest of the service, when you have a moment, move, dance, feel that dance in your spirit. You're at home, you have the freedom to do that. And so, In These Hard Times by Linda Hirschhorn. In these hard times, there will always be singing, always be singing. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be dancing, always be dancing. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be singing, always be singing. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be dancing, always be dancing. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be clapping, always be clapping. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be clapping, always be clapping. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be praying, always be praying. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be praying, always be praying. In these hard times. I'm going to continue, but I can't see the word. So, in these hard times, there will always be loving, always be loving. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be loving, always be loving. In these hard times, there will always be loving, always be loving. In these hard times, in these hard times, there will always be swimming,
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you, Jolie, and everyone. I love seeing your beautiful faces and movements. So good to be with you this evening. Now, as much as there will always be dancing, I have to tell you that I didn't always love dancing, and especially not in public. As a young child, I was painfully shy. I'd hide behind my mother's legs whenever I was introduced to someone new. I avoided the phone for years, unsure of how to let my voice move outside my own body. And I'll never forget the 8th grade school dance when I summoned the courage to slow dance with the boy, only to be shamed by our principal, a Catholic nun, in front of everyone. That public humiliation sank deep into my body. And for years afterward, I avoided dancing where anyone could see me. But even as I kept still, something in me wanted to move. My body ached to sway. My hands, my feet, my shoulders, they remembered a kind of freedom that I was pushing down. A truth deeper than fear. I was made to move. And this is not just a psychological memory, it's a spiritual one. The queer theologian Patrick Chang speaks of the body as a sacrament, an outward and visible sign of inward grace. In a world that polices and punishes bodies, especially Black, brown, queer, trans, disabled, fat, and femme bodies, to move freely is itself an act of political and theological resistance. Your body is not separate from the sacred. Your body is a space where the divine is encountered, not in spite of your humanity, but precisely through it. When we dance, when we risk joy, when we grieve aloud, or touch gently, or sing with abandon, we're reclaiming what empire, what shame and silence have tried to strip away, our inherent worth and holy presence. And that's why dance matters. It's why, as the poet writes, we dance the dance of struggle and hope. We dance because it brings us back to ourselves, because it reminds us that joy, grief, longing, and even protest live not just in our ideas, but in our bones. Because in movement, we reclaim what shame or fear or systems of control tried to take away, our own sacred presence. I didn't always love dancing, but I've come to experience it as a spiritual practice of remembering that I am alive, that I am free, that I am whole. There are a number of people who have served as inspirations to me for exuberant dancing without self-judgment or shame. One of these people is now well into her 90s, a regular of the weekly community meal that my congregation prepares. One of our church members has played music regularly at these meals, and along with the music, this woman, a former Catholic nun, would without fail get up and begin dancing. She clearly has a different sensibility than the sister who served as my elementary school principal. But she didn't stop there. Once she was up and moving, she was turning to the person closest to her, taking their hands and urging them to join her. She's also a regular at our community gospel choir concerts. And without fail, she ends up in the aisles, moving her body with abandon, taking the hands of anyone within reach. And soon enough, there is a Congo line working its way around the sanctuary. Thank you, Maxine. Some of my greatest moments of joy have come when dancing with others at weddings, at birthday parties, or for no special occasion at all, and even at church. Earlier this year, as the long winter set in here in Vermont, and it is rather long, I gathered with my congregation and other members of the community for a night of poetry, music, and dance, organized right here at our church by a local arts collective. It was a human family potluck for Black Our Story Month, as the organizers dubbed it. And we were blessed to have Ife Franklin there, a Black woman performing artist whose work is inspired by slave narratives, dreams, dance, song, and visions. At the event, she led the multiracial, multi-generational, multi-gendered crowd in a ring shout. Some people were hesitant to join, but as we circled over the wood floor of our church vestry, more people came into the circle, and the energy built. Grief, rage, and proclamation poured out, and soon we were all dancing together, bodies in rhythm, frankly, bodies out of rhythm. And yes, eventually the group organized itself into formation for the electric slide. What joy. This great joy is available to us not only when we dance, but in all forms of embodied expression that put us in touch with the sacredness, the dignity, and the freedom of our bodies and spirits. These are also spiritual practices for making it through times of crisis, through these hard times. We have an instinct for coming together to embody resilience through art, creativity, and movement. In times of grief, movement is a practice that supports us in offering ourselves and one another full presence and healing. Grief lives in the body. It doesn't just pass through the mind and words or thoughts. It settles in our muscles, our posture, our breath. It aches in the chest. As Dr. Barbara Holmes writes, grief invades and silently spreads, setting up its own altars in our bodies, but the body knows. When we are brokenhearted, it is our bodies that carry the weight, and it is our bodies that eventually help us to move through. In moments of profound loss, especially collective loss, we turn instinctively to embodied ritual, to song, to dance, to movement. These are not luxuries, they are languages of survival. During the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, when so many of us were isolated and grieving deaths, lost jobs, canceled gatherings, the unraveling of daily life, we turned again and again to embodied practices to hold what words could not. And I remember from that time the rise of virtual dance parties, rooms full of small squares on a screen, pulsing to rhythm across time zones. And for some, it may have looked like a distraction or some kind of avoidance, but I believe it was something far deeper, a form of grief work, a way to metabolize sorrow through movement, breath, and presence. When we dance in times of grief, we are not denying our pain, we are giving it shape, rhythm, and breath. We are transforming mourning into motion. And this isn't about performing joy, it's about survival. about trusting that our bodies can hold both the trauma and the healing, that movement can make room for lament and also for release, that when we sway together, even virtually, even imperfectly, we enact the deep truth that none of us grieves alone. To dance through grief is to insist that even in sorrow, the spirit is not extinguished. It is to declare with every step and every spin, I am still here. We are still here. And we are still moving. Yet there are those who want to restrict the movement of our bodies, to stop our passage across borders, to deny us life-saving food and healthcare, to punish how we present ourselves, to silence what we say with our hips, our hands, our hair, our very presence. Fascist regimes want to strip the body of its sacredness, turning it into a site of control, surveillance, and punishment, deporting beloved members of our communities, imprisoning student activists for speaking up for a free Palestine. But we, the people, dissent. We, the people, resist with our bodies. Habeas corpus, translated as you should have the body. That ancient legal principle found in every major democratic tradition asserts that the body must not disappear into the machinery of power without accountability. It is a cry against erasure, a cry that says this body matters, this body exists, this body must be seen. One of the few times the writ of habeas corpus has been suspended by the United States was in 1905, when the US occupied the Philippines. Habeas corpus was suspended in order to suppress the rebellion of the Moro people of the southern Muslim islands against colonial rule. The resistance of brown and Black bodies has always been deemed a threat to empire. Yet our spirits, alive in this flesh and bones, refuse to be bound. Our ancestors, enslaved Africans, colonized peoples, interned communities, embodied that refusal. Even when shackled, even when displaced, even when systematically dehumanized, they held in their bones a knowledge of freedom that could not be legislated away. In dance, in song, in quiet acts of dignity and defiance, they reminded themselves and their oppressors that the body is divine and holy. And this is why dance, especially public dance, especially dance by those whose bodies are most often targeted, Black bodies, queer bodies, disabled bodies, migrant bodies, is not frivolous. It is resistance. To move freely, with joy, with sorrow, with pride, is to reclaim what empire would erase. Dance, laughter, and breath are not escapes from the struggle. They are part of the strategy for surviving it, for healing through it. Policies that defund care, that wage war, that criminalize love or gender or immigration status, these are not just abstractions of talking heads and oppressive systems. They are assaults on bodies. And so it is in our bodies that resistance must also rise. Hands lifting, hips swaying, feet stomping. These are declarations. I am still here. My body is not your battleground. My body is mine. My body is beloved. My body is free. It is from this freedom that in myriad ways our bodies find expression for the great truth of our inherent worth and dignity, the divine inner light and love within us. Alice Walker writes, "Hard times require furious dancing." And dancing has shown up in these hard times. Soon after the forced change in leadership at the Kennedy Center for the Arts in Washington, D.C., earlier this year, dancers organized in resistance. 36 dancers of different ages, races, genders assembled outside the Kennedy Center on a cold February morning in coats and hats and mittens. They performed the Nelken Line by choreographer Pina Bausch as Louis Armstrong's West End Blues played in the background. Their dance was an act of protest and resistance to the takeover of their beloved place of creation and expression. All over the world, people turn to dance as an expression of protest. This past November, shortly after the national election here in the US, 3 Maori lawmakers in New Zealand performed a traditional haka in Parliament to protest a proposed bill that sought to redefine the country's foundational treaty of Waitangi. At the same time, thousands of Maori were marching to defend their rights. Inside the parliamentary chamber, these lawmakers chanted and danced their defiance with dignity and ferocity. It was a sight to behold. Not surprisingly, their act of defiance in the otherwise stately and ever so polite chamber was deemed inappropriate, and they were recently censured and temporarily suspended from Parliament. Dance serves as a powerful tool of protest and resilience. Through movement, communities assert their presence, challenge oppressive structures, and affirm the sacredness of their bodies and cultures in the face of systems that are unable and unwilling to recognize their dignity. Dance can also be spiritual resistance. And oh, do these times call for our spiritual resistance. Dr. Otis Moss III writes, "To practice spiritual resistance in the face of fear, we must remain connected, even in times of fearful threat, to what we love, those activities and people that bring us joy and feed our souls." And for you, this could be dance, but it could be singing, writing, crafting. Through joyful acts, our spirits resist fear and dehumanization. Dr. Moss shares the story of a particular night some years ago when fear gripped him tight. His church, Trinity United on the south side of Chicago, had come under scrutiny and threat of attack because of the strong words of their senior pastor at the time, the Reverend Jeremiah Wright. And Dr. Moss recalls that in this period of intense scrutiny and threats, he was fearful for his own safety and that of his family. It was during this period of time that one night he woke in the middle of the night to a loud sound, and he got out of bed to investigate, tiptoeing around his house with a baseball bat in his hand, and he discovered that the sound was coming from his young daughter's room. The worst possibilities flashed through his head as he opened the door and he saw that his daughter was out of bed. There were no lights on, but she was dancing. His daughter had been taking ballet lessons, and there she was, 3 o'clock in the morning, practicing her moves. His first instinct was to reprimand her and ask what in the world she was doing out of bed. But she insisted that he watch as she danced. And he did. And then he carried the 6-year-old to bed and went back to sleep himself. Later, he reflected on the profound message his daughter's middle of the night antics conveyed. We must dance in the darkness. How do we endure? How do we persist. We remember that there will always be singing, there will always be dreaming, there will always be loving, there will always be gathering and rising up in protest, and there will always be dancing. In the words of Norma Doyaga, we dance the dangerous dance of struggle. We dance whole body, spirit, and soul. We dance with the wind and the ashes, the ruins of the old tyrant rule. We dance until oppression is no more. So, beloveds, let us dance.
The dancer rebirth. They're on the show. We seek space. Edge on the throne.
Wow. Dance on. Radiant ones, our ancestors carried dreams across oceans and deserts, whose bones remember songs and dances sung and done in defiance and delight. May you feel that power of your lineage rising in you now. Let us be brave in our bodies. Let us face the silence and shouting, bravery in the rooms where our presence unsettles, brave in choosing joy as our resistance, brave in loving ourselves without condition. Beautiful ones, your beauty belongs to you. It is the beauty of midnight skin, of sun-kissed earth, of tightly coiled galaxies and wide ancestral eyes. It is the beauty of survival, of laughter, of truth. May your dancing spirit be fed by justice, your dancing guided by wisdom, your rest be sacred, and your voices be free. Because here you are not alone. You come from people who refuse to disappear, and you are here now, shining, a blessing in motion. Dance ecstatically through this world and celebrate your bravery and your love in your bodies, your souls, and your beings. Blessings on you all, brave ones.
We have joined together as a community led by joy and justice. As our chalice flame is extinguished, may we carry with us the glowing warmth of our religious bonds and all that inspires us. Grace, resilience, compassion, community, crabapple trees, all that was shared earlier during our time of building an altar. And may we bring with us a spark of hope as we continue to march and sing and dance in pursuit of freedom.
I invite you now to join your voices in song as we sing our hymn from Singing the Journey, number 1050, Sia Hamba. Sia hum and quinken ren quakos, Sia hum and kuken 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 ren quakos, Sia hamba, Sia hamba, oh, Sia hum and kuken ren quakos, Sia hamba, Sia hamba, oh, Sia hum and kuken ren quakos. We are dancing in the light of God. 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 We are dancing, oh, we are dancing in the light of God. We are dancing, oh, we are dancing in the light of God. Bailando en la luz de Dios, bailando en la luz de Dios. Bailando en la luz de Dios, bailando en la luz de Dios. Bailando, bailando, bailando en la luz de Dios. Bailando, bailando, bailando en la luz de Dios.
Thank you to everyone for being here tonight. And really, really a profound thank you for everyone who made this service possible, especially for the people who provided the behind the scenes support, Jolanda Walter and Noemi de Guzman. Thank you so much to Reverend Joan for those words of inspiration and courage. Thank you to Dr. Jolie Rocke for providing our music. Thank you, Reverend Sanjay and Tomi and Karishma and all the members of the Drum Steering Committee. Thank you for all of the sponsors, all of the congregations and folks who sponsored this service, to the members of Drum and to all of you who made donations tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for making this wonderful, diverse, revolutionary, liberatory faith possible. Thank you for being here tonight. And continue dancing. May we all continue dancing.
The dancer rebel. They want to show.